eyni zamanda beynəlxalq təşkilatlarda sıx şəkildə əməkdaşlığı və iştirakı əlbəttə ki, körpüləri qurmaq və körpüləri gücləndirmə imkanı, həmrəyliyi də gücləndirmə, fərqli qitələrin də ölkələrini bir araya gətirmə imkanı olacaqdır. Bununla yanaşı bir neçə il ərzində, 4 il ərzində qoşulmama hərəkətin təşkilatını
We've been elected by unanimous decision, and our chairmanship was extended by unanimous decision for 1 year. So we have established during our chairmanship very fruitful relations with many members of the movement. Our chairmanship coincided with COVID-19, so we acted in a very responsible way and provided humanitarian, financial, technical assistance to more than 80 countries. So this international platform for us, I hope, will allow us to engage countries of Global South into the common agenda. At the same time, relations with many European countries also developed successfully. With 9 members of EU, Azerbaijan signed or adopted agreements and declarations on strategic partnership. So saying that, I hope that these international connections will allow us to strengthen solidarity. That's mainly what we need. We need finance, we need solidarity, and we need shared responsibility. Also, as a country which is rich in fossil fuels, Azerbaijan is a member of OPEC Plus platform, and I think there is also an additional advantage, because we think that the countries rich with natural resources, particularly with oil and gas, should be in the front row of those who address the issues of climate change. So these different layers, I think, will create a good spirit of solidarity and will allow us to reach our goals. As soon as we've been elected as a host country of COP, the main attention of some media outlets was on our energy portfolio, energy background, and I was always saying that having oil and gas deposits is not our fault. It's a gift of the God. We must be judged not by that, we must be judged by how we use these reserves for the development of the country, for reduction of poverty, unemployment, and what is our target with respect to green agenda. Our oil and gas will be needed for many more years, including European markets. In 2022, EU and Azerbaijan signed a declaration on strategic partnership in the field of energy, and our natural gas supplies to European Union is growing. That was a request of European Commission, and we positively responded to that. So now half of our natural gas export, particularly the 12 billion cubic meters, is going to the market of European Union. And based on that declaration which I mentioned, by 2027, our export to EU should reach 20 billion cubic meters. And we all understand that in this geopolitical situation, this is a sign of responsibility of Azerbaijan, because we largely are investing in increasing our gas production, because Europe needs more gas from new sources. At the same time, our green agenda started to materialize prior to being awarded with COP29. We already started with our foreign partners, investors, huge projects of green transition. This year in Azerbaijan was declared the year of Green World Solidarity Year. And only this year, the groundbreaking ceremony, which will allow us to produce 1,300 megawatts of solar and wind energy, will be held. And by the end of 2027, we hope, and we are sure, because the contracts have been signed, to have 2,000 megawatts of green and solar energy operational. That will be 9 power stations. And by 2030, there will be additional 10 power stations of solar and wind, which will produce 5,000 megawatts, 5 gigawatts. So using this potential, we will largely substitute gas consumptions for producing of electricity, and that volumes, I think at least 5 additional billion cubic meters of gas will be exported to Europe. So it's actually a win-win situation. We have created a very good investment climate. All the projects which I mentioned with green energy are financed by foreign investors. Azerbaijan just provides its infrastructure and very friendly investment climate. We will save a lot of natural gas which Europe needs. At the same time, we are working now at the final stage of feasibility study to build integrated transmission lines from Caspian offshore wind farms to Europe, including subsea cable under the Black Sea. That will allow Azerbaijani green energy at a volume of 4 gigawatt to be exported to Europe. Our proven reserves of offshore wind energy is 157 gigawatt. So it's an illustration of the potential. For many years, wind created certain discomfort for Baku inhabitants, but now wind will generate a lot of activity, cooperation, partnership, and will strengthen energy security. So my last point is that energy security should be treated definitely as a matter of national security of the countries. There should be no discrimination. As a head of the country which is rich with fossil fuels, of course, we will defend the right of these countries to continue investments and to continue production, because the world is needed. But at the same time, countries with fossil fuel, as I said already, should be among those who demonstrate solidarity with respect to issues related to climate change. Once again, Mr. Chancellor, Madam Minister, thank you for the invitation. It's a big honor and pleasure to be among you. Wish you successful discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. Our next speaker will speak in German, so I kindly ask you to put on your headphones if you're not fluent in the German language. Dear Excellencies, I welcome now on stage the Chancellor of Germany, His Excellency Olaf Scholz.
Sehr geehrter Herr Staatspräsident,
President Aliyev, I'm delighted that you, as the host of the next COP, are here with us today. Esteemed ministers, dear Annalena, ladies and gentlemen, it is great to be able to welcome you all to Berlin. From here, we can look back on the successful COP in Dubai, and we're all working together to ensure that the conferences in Baku in November and in Belém next year build on this success. We want to support this process with the Petersberg Climate Dialogue. Let me start by honing in on the big picture. Our joint efforts to curb climate change are yielding fruit. We must get faster and we must get better, but the direction we're going in is right. All countries have developed NDCs for this decade. 78 countries have submitted long-term strategies with the objective of achieving greenhouse gas neutrality by the middle of this century. The mechanism of the Paris Agreement is working. The transformation towards climate neutrality is irreversible, not least because it also makes economic sense. We all know that there cannot, nor will there be, a return to the fossil era. Instead, we must seize the opportunities of the future, and that's precisely what we're doing around the world. This is demonstrated by the Dubai Consensus to triple renewable energies, to double the rate of energy efficiency, and to transition away from fossil fuels. The United Arab Emirates, Azerbaijan and Brazil have now, as a troika, set out to take the next steps towards COP29 and COP30 up until the submission of the NDCs together. And I strongly welcome this new form of intercontinental cooperation. The German government will do its utmost to support this. Ladies and gentlemen, Germany is on the right track. Last year, emissions were almost halved compared with 1990 levels, and that was in the same year, no less, in which we phased out nuclear energy. The latest figures show that we will also be able to achieve our 2030 target of reducing emissions by 65%. We have rapidly accelerated the expansion of renewable energies. The expansion of wind energy on land has almost doubled. We connected almost 15 gigawatts of new PV to the grid in 2023. Coal-fired power generation went down 20% and was at its lowest